Greetings, third graders. It is your teacher, Miss Peterson. Today we're still working on area, of course, no surprise there. Today specifically, we're going to be taking the grids away from you. So you have to find the area without counting those unit squares. And this is a good thing. I know it might not seem like a good thing, but it's a good thing because in the real world, when you actually have to find area outside of my classroom, there's no magic person coming and drawing the unit squares for you. Believe it or not, I'm not going to follow you around the rest of your life, and when you need to find area, I'm not going to draw those little unit squares for you. You're going to have to find area of things without counting. You're going to have to be able to measure the sides and get the area. So today you can just read the purpose statement with me while I read it out loud. Today we'll learn how to find area when there's no grid so that you can find area in the real world. I will know you have it when you're able to find the area of the problems below and find the correct area. You also need the label to convince me you know how to do this. So before we dig too deep in this worksheet, I want to go back and review some multiplication ideas. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to switch screens, and we're going to talk about arrays for a little bit. Okay, I'm back. Super quick. All right, so you're looking at some arrays. All I did was just type in arrays, and I found these online. So this should be super familiar to you. Even though they're not unit squares, they still are relevant to our talk on area because what you're going to start seeing is that arrays make rectangles. Always. Every array you ever do forms the shape of a rectangle, and that's super helpful if you want to find the area of a rectangle, because even if we don't see those unit squares, that's what we're doing. We're measuring with unit squares, and those unit squares form an array because they're in a rectangle. So we can use what we know about multiplication. So I'm going to just do figure 1 for you, and you're going to just connect with it deeply, but it's a 4 fish down, and 4 fish across. If I want to know how many fish there are that fill up that space, I would know it's 16 fish because 4 times 4 is 16. Now, even if I didn't show you the fish, I'm going to go ahead and hide the fish from you and probably get rid of these little dot things. Yeah, just ignore the dots. So if I get rid of the fish for you and tell you, you just have to trust me that there are 4 fish up and 4 fish across, you would still be able to tell me that there are 16 fish behind my square, even if you couldn't see them. If you trust my measurements that it's 4 up and 4 across, you know that there's 16 total fish. Let's do another example. So if we look at figure 2, which has these flower-looking things, again, you can start thinking about how many flowers there are. Well, a lot of you wouldn't count. You would use your multiplication skills. You could count, but we know that as third graders, there's a quicker method. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5, and I'm actually going to put it on this side. I just don't have space to write it on the other side. And with a rectangle and with arrays, it stays consistent. So whatever side I put it on, it's still 5. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across. So I'm going to put it on top here. It's a 5 by 6 array. A lot of you can do that in your head. 5 times 6 is 30. There are 30 flowers. If you don't believe me, pause the video and count. But 30 flowers. You should be convinced we've done multiplication. Even if I hide these flowers, and you trust the measurements I gave you that it's 5 flowers up and 6 flowers across, you should be able to understand that there are 30 flowers behind the box because you know that there are 5 flowers up, 6 flowers across. So, same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and hide it. Tell you that it is 4 by 6. For, I think there were leaves. You're going to tell me how many leaves are behind this black square. Well, you know that 4 times 6 equals 24. So when I remove the square, there should be 24 leaves. And let's find out if we're correct. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We got it correct. it was no big deal, and that multiplication saves us a lot of miscounting errors and time. Same thing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4. If you trust the measurement, all you have to do is measure the sides. I can hide it. Know that it's a 4 by 5, I think it was. There would be 20 in there. You could go back and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. But you don't need to count. That's the point, that if you measure how long this side is and how long this side is, you're going to be able to multiply and get your answer when you're dealing with rectangles. So I'm going to pause, go back to 1. Some of you might be thinking about using using multiplication for all area. Bad idea. It only works with rectangles. So I brought you here to show you this. You would not be able to use area to solve this shape, or multiplication to solve this shape, because it doesn't make a perfect rectangle. You could multiply, but you would be missing out on shape. So for instance, here you could do something like 2 times 3, right? So you could do 2 times 3, and then you could chunk it together. You did that first, then add one more, but you wouldn't be able to do just one step. So it has to be just a straight rectangle to use this skill. All of that work brings us back here. If you look at number 1, they gave you the grid because they're nice, but you can see that it's 5 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they don't give you a unit, but let's say it's 5 inches across. So each one of those little lengths here at the bottom is an inch. So 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inches. And 6 inches up, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch. Well, to figure out how many total of those square inches you have, you do 5 times 6 to get 30. Your answer would be 30 inches squared. Now, of course, they don't give us inches. They just leave it blank, so you would put units instead. If they don't give you what it's measured in, you put units. So I'm going to put units squared. Number 2, they don't give me the tiles, but I'm going to trust their measurement that it's 5 feet, inches, miles across and 2 feet, inches, miles up. I can multiply together to get that, how many total square inches or square feet or square miles are there, and do 5 times 2 to get 10. Now, because they don't tell me, I am going to put units, but it could be yards, feet, squared, whatever. But I'm going to put units because I don't know. All right, so you're going to go ahead and solve these bottom ones on your own. You can go back and do 1 and 2 if you want. It's never a bad idea. Go through, solve them. I will come back and check. You can ask an elbow partner if you're struggling. Come find me if you're struggling. This is a really important skill. If you look up here, it says it's a priority standard. This is the one I need you to know. I need you to know all of them, but this is the big dog. I have to have you have this. Have to have you have this before you go to 4th grade. So take the time, make sure you have a solid understanding of this, and ask for help if you need it. Bye, guys.